Let's dive into the greatest show on turf. Talk about that year. We have a Tennessee Titan, Nashville native,
You want a
a
hug?
yard and a half.
You want a hug?
Hey,
I'll
Jack,
give you
give him a
one.
hug. Jack,
I'll
give
give
him
you
a
a
hug.
hug. It's okay.
That newspaper shot reaching.
I'll give you a hug.
No, talk about that year, man, and the rise of the St. Louis Rams.
It was literally, I remember being in that locker room, from the start of the season. And I think it was Keith Lowell, Todd Light. They say, why not us? Like, why not us? Literally, like, why not us? Why can't we dominate the league? And everybody was like, huh. And like that literally started. You could see guys, because the Rams had a lot of good draft picks, but they just couldn't put the pieces together. And it was because they had drafted with Orlando Pace, Grant Renstrom, Isaac Bruce, Todd Light. Like all of these dudes are first rounders. Like they had guys that were still on the team that could play, and it just hadn't happened for them. But the willingness to just buy in, and we started this thing with celebrating as a team. Like it started in practice. It didn't matter who caught the touchdown. We were going to celebrate as a team. It didn't matter who got the sack. We were going to celebrate as a team, and that started to feed into the identity. And then we had this special teams coach that was like, he was the best I'd ever heard get people ready to play. I mean, and he used to use a lot of war analogies, and
Those are the best ones.
and ask guys to go and tell them what to do, and it used to get people so fired up. I mean, I didn't even play special teams. I sat in the special teams meetings just to hear him talk.
No shit.
And he, man, Frank Gans was like, he was one of the best special teams coaches to ever play, and that mantra of us, everybody was like, we got to go to work if we want to do this. And that became our whole thing. Got to go to work. Got to go to work. Got to go to work. Got to go to work.
Mm-hmm. When you guys are feeling the juice, you're celebrating the team and everything. Like, when did that, like, all right, the momentum is in our favor right now. When did it turn into, oh, legit, we could win a Super Bowl this year?
After we lost to Tennessee, the next week of practice, how we showed up. I had been a part of teams that lost games and showed up like it was nothing. Guys showed up pissed, mad, like working hard. You could see that the linemen, like O-line, D-line, they were in fights with each other. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the I'm doing defensive scout team or offensive scout team, and I'm just getting in your way. It was like they were trying to kick each other's butt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, these dudes hungry, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you could start to see it. And we I think right after that we played the Niners, and the Rams hadn't beat the Niners in like 11 times. And we blew them out. Like literally blew them out. And that's when it was like, there's something here. There's literally something here.
Mm-hmm.
Then having that pissed off team after losing to the Titans, how hungry were you guys to play them again in the Super Bowl?
We couldn't have had a better opponent. Literally, could not have had a better opponent.
Damn,
Came down to the last play,
could
too.
not have had a better opponent, man. It was like, if you go back and watch the game that we played them in Tennessee, like that game was just as hard fought as the Super Bowl. And to watch the effort of Eddie George and the late Steve McNair, like the effort, like if watch the last drive, Steve McNair is leaving it all out there. I'm talking dog tired. And this dude is finding a way to stay up, fight guys off, complete passes. And,
what was your vibe like on the sideline, seeing him drive down?
Yeah,
last play happening.
I'm going to be honest, man. I was so calm because I just didn't think I was like, I knew a little bit about Fisher. I was like, there's no way he goes for two. Because if they scored, they were tied. But there's no way he was going for two.
That route was ran wrong. that route, if that depth was just a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
that's a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. That's it though.
Mm-hmm.
The discipline of the game is sometimes all the times is why you win or lose. The discipline and how you do stuff.
Mike Jones.
Yeah.
He's the one who had that final tackle. You also play with. I got to play with him.
Hold on, stay on the Super Bowl. Stay on the Super Bowl because
go ahead.
I played for the Titans. 2019, we're 2 quarters away from going to a Super Bowl. Tell me that feeling of running out of the tunnel for a Super Bowl to literally achieve a world championship. That moment, is it?
Man,
because you like obviously extremely successful. Like you've literally done everything you can possibly do as a football player, but like the opportunity to achieve like the holy grail of a team sport. Like what is that? Was that moment massive, or was it like how hard was it to stay like kind of composed, just running out of the tunnel, knowing win or lose, this is the last game of the year and this is a legacy deal?
I didn't even try to stay composed.
Smart.
Like what I did was I allowed whatever was going to happen, and that, I was going to be able to gather myself and play the game. That's literally when I ran out of the tunnel, I was so hyped. Like I started hyperventilating. I had to go to the sideline and get some oxygen. I was like so excited because as a kid, like my friends, and I'm from New Orleans. We're playing in Atlanta. I got so many people at the game, like people that spent their last to get there because they grew up. You know,
spending that whole Super Bowl check trying to get everybody in there.
And I'm thinking about my boys when we, as kids. Every time it didn't matter what the score was. Oh shit, the street lights coming on. We got to get home. This play is to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I get a chance. Man, you crazy. Like I was not going to hold anything back. And by the time when I ran out, I'm amped. And I wore myself out. I'm sitting on the bench. I'm like, I got to catch my breath.
Yeah.
Like
came a long way from not coming off the field in high school.
Literally, I started the game off tired. And it took I had to catch my second win just to go out and play. That's how much adrenaline is going through your body to play that game.
Man, what a moment that would be.
You're the MVP that year too, right?
No, that was Kurt's.
That was Kurt. You were second to Kurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's wild. Like Kurt Warner's number one.
Mm.
So 3 years in a row. 2. So Kurt won, I was second. I won, he was second. Kurt won, I was second. 3 years in a row.
To a guy who was filling grocery bags.
Hey man, the best grocery bagger in the business.
No question. Details.
Hey man,
the eggs were never on the bottom. Like he knew what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with him?
Hey, best man I know, man. I tell people all the time. Like I'm talking not just football player, but like person. You meet him, like so authentic. And just enjoyed playing with him. He only got upset with himself. It didn't matter who was yelling at him. He maintained who he was, and he always stayed in his person and who he wanted to be, like a man of faith.
Yeah.
Always.
Not going back to back. Spygate, Patriots taking it from us, from the Rams.
From us.
St. Louis Rams.
You were a Cowboys fan.
I was a Cowboys fan, but you're still like, when the city team wins, as a kid, you're on that bandwagon. You know what I mean? Like Marshall Faulk was on the cover of Madden. You pretended to be guys like Marshall Faulk, Terrell Davis, Eddie George out in the front yard. But back to the question of not getting that back-to-back Super Bowl against the Patriots. Talk about that.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. For a while, I hung on that loss more than I did the win. And you just you got to let it go. You literally let it go, and that's easy to do when you play sports. You don't really know how to really maintain what you need in order to enjoy the wins. It's so much easier to go down and be pissed off about the losses.
Mm-hmm.
So much easier,
mm-hmm.
Because it becomes fuel to your fire. You use it to like get stuff done. Really when you're the best, you're like, oh, I'm gonna work out harder. It's like it's harder to work out harder when you're the best. It's easier to work out harder when there's some adversity or something's up against you. And so, I really had to like work on like, man, I gotta let this go. Like I enjoyed winning the Super Bowl more than I did losing the Super Bowl. Mm. Why am I not talking about this as much?
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any truth to the Spygate?
And man, look, I mean,
hey, that's a yes.
Let's just say this. It's not one Spygate, it's two Spygates. There's all kinds of stuff that, you know, but in this business of professional sports, you know, Al Davis used to say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, man. And some people, you know, you find that you find a way to get it done. And in the game, in between the lines, it ain't holding if they don't call it.
Right. Yeah, but spying.
If they don't call it, they got to call it.
Right.
The league has to throw the challenge flag on itself.
Yeah.
And they ain't never doing that.
Yeah.
We're not going to be baseball. Remember that. Baseball got some tainted. League ain't doing that.
No, they're not.
You're not going to see no asterisk by any Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Trust that.
When you come back to it, obviously you didn't play in Las Vegas for a Super Bowl, but you're during Super Bowl week. Like, is there a piece of nostalgia every time you come back?
Oh yeah,
and do all this stuff.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Just the memories of because when you're like, so when I was in the league, I would not come to a Super Bowl until I played in one or until I won one. So I never came until then. I came in '94. And then I didn't come again until after '99, until after the 2000 season. So you're always wondering when you're playing, like, what's happening, what's going on out there, what's happening.
Yeah.
And now being on this side of it, I'm always thinking about, like, man, what are they talking about? Like, what are they game planning? What's the scheme? Like the guys, what are they planning on? Because you talk about how much you're going, man, after we win this, here's what we going to do. After we win, I can't wait. Like, you're manifesting your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're talking about it. You can see it. And that's why when you lose, it hurts so much.
Yeah.